give the Camille up because they take it so high in the draft. You get to draft other things, you get priority elsewhere. So it's really easy to look at Gen.G and know what their game plan is going to be because they draft face up so often.
Yeah. That being said, like, the reason Gen.G used to do it is because they were so good at it, it didn't matter, right? Like, you can see the steam train coming, but you ain't gonna stop. You're not Spider-Man, right? Or was it Spider-Man that stopped the train? Yeah,
Yes,
it was.
yes.
Although it seems a bit silly.
Tobey
right?
Maguire Spider-Man.
Yeah, now that I think back, I'm like, maybe that's not the Spider-Man we want to remember. I'm getting Spider-Man.
Spider-Man and Friends
flashbacks
was
now.
my favorite.
I like what was the anime one? That one was super good.
I can't remember what it was called.
There's no point in talking about it now. Let's talk about Udyr. No,
Udyr!
let's not talk about Udyr.
No nerfs, but he's still going to be in play here. And, you know, in LCK right now, there's a trio of priority jungles that you're always going to see in first rotation. It's Udyr, Lilia, and Hecarim. And depending on how you want to give your mid-prio, you know, you will take the AP jungle oftentimes if you want to try to take something like Illusion, which we could definitely see here for Showmaker.
Ooh, Thresh was left up, though, so Gen.G can just go straight towards it. And this is what we were talking about, right? Like, actually go towards some counter pick options,
Yes.
right? And Gen.G have locked away their jungle and their bottom lane, and that's really, really good to see. Rel is up, so Beryl could go towards it if he'd like, but I'd really like to see that Gragas out again.
Yeah, that's the traditional Damwon Kia option. They're actually just going to go blind Scion because they're scared that maybe a team would actually ban that for once. Because the old MO was just to go the Gragas here and leave it open-ended because he's still pretty stable in the top lane against a lot of matchups. And then Scion gives you like the harder counter. If you ban Scion, then they have such a strong you know, support pick there as well, on the bottom side with the Gragas. So this time they go kind of more all in on the Scion, ban the Aurelia here, and we could even see you know, a Camille ban if they really wanted to go all in against Gen.G's style, but I don't think that's necessary anymore when you're going face up with a Scion like this. I think you're okay with them playing the Camille into this matchup because you're so good at handling that as Damwon Kia.
Yone going to be taken away here. I'd expect a Lucian ban after that. I feel like it'd be almost too free for Showmaker to get that. Also a very comfortable blind pick in most instances, as already with the Aurelia ban does perform double duty, right? Like she can actually tussle.
And there's the Syndra.
Yep.
BDD's most played champion. He's only played 5 this season, which has got a bit of a big meme in the Korean community. It's like, can he play other champions? We're not sure because we never get to know. Of course, he has historically played quite a bit more, but this season a little bit more limited. And the Lucian ban has to come through, I think, because if you give priority to mid, even blind here, because there's almost no champions that can destroy that. Aurelia is one of the only options. Then how is your Udyr really going to be able to function in this composition when Lucian just always has prio? It's so much more difficult to make that work.
Interesting that Leona's coming out here. We did mention the fact that there is a lot of power in the Gragas, going for more of that isolated, good matchup, as Leona into Thresh has been a thing. That being said, Thresh has been picked into Leona a lot of times just because Flay's so good into the old Zenith Blade. So a little bit of a head turner there.
Yeah, definitely.
Slightly perplexing.
Definitely a little bit less of what we've been seeing from Damwon Kia too, but Orianna going to come through. BDD's going to have his control mage one way or the other. Ends up getting this one. It's crazy. I mean, I talk about how he's only played like the Syndra and the Azir, but it's 15 games of Syndra, 12 games of Azir, then you go down to Orianna at 3.
Hell yes! All right!
Okay, didn't expect this one.
The Cho'Gath coming in up against the Scion is going to be the choice. Of course, Scion can still be flexed.
Yeah, it's a pretty good you know, option against the Scion with how much health he has. It's a pretty solid pick, and it's very frustrating to play around in lane too if played correctly. So I like it. And the Zoe pick here is going to give you so much mobility, so much ability to control the map. If you think about Lilia and Zoe together, sure, that's a lot of AP damage. But there's so many ways to set up sleeps. There's so many ways to disrupt Gen.G's composition. Sleep the Cho'Gath, sleep the Udyr, and then it becomes so much more difficult to front-to-back team fight if you're Gen.G.
That being said, their comp front-to-backs so beautifully. If you look at it, they've got that big meat shield on the front side in the Cho'Gath. They can add an orb to the Udyr to allow him to scale a little bit more effectively as the game goes on. That being said, you look on the side of Damwon Kia, and it's a little bit awkward having Zoe paired alongside Lilia. It's a lot of magic damage there in the mid lane, and of course BDD can, you know, just build a bit of magic resist and be pretty happy. That being said, you know, Ghost is going to be doing a lot of physical damage. Scion does a lot of damage if he's being played by Khan, which he is. in this case. And I feel like Damwon Kia, we were having a discussion about this. We were talking about the fact that don't change your playstyle at all until you get
Yeah, exactly.
And right now, they're in first place. Why would you change something at all and give away anything someone could use to attack you in the playoffs?
I think that's the best way to play for Damwon for the rest of this regular season. You know, just go straight into that semifinals with advantage in seed where you can pick your opponent and keep everything hidden until then. Just keep playing this style. You know, the change between patch 11.4 and 11.5 is not significant enough to where you really need to change. Even if you want to keep your win streak, you can just play the style that you're so good at right now. Hide what you're doing in scrims. I like this composition a lot. I mean, Gen.G's is strong too, but very difficult to execute versus what, you know, Damwon Kia brought to the table here. It's Canyon's Lilia. I mean, it's going to be a tough one here.
It will definitely be difficult. I think that there is a chance that they will be able to get some of that priority that Udyr so desperately needs, but I think eyes are going to be glued on that mid lane. Let's have a look at what's going to happen as Gen.G take on Damwon Kia for our first match of Week 9. Life getting that coveted Thresh pick. I'm really glad that we went through the pick percentages before the game. Because Thresh was absolutely the most popular ban of last week.
Yeah, I think there was only one game where he wasn't picked or banned in the entirety of last week's games.
Yeah.
So it goes to show you, I mean, also right now, Jinx has become a lot more popular, and he pairs so well with her. Aphelios is still strong. There's so many reasons why you just don't want to put that on the table, especially with the jungle priority being so high too.
Yeah.
It becomes very awkward. And you have to leave that open for picks 2 and 3, and that's what Damwon Kia did in this case. So there are consequences. See how well Life can play this.
Yeah, I'm still very confused about, you know, why you pick Leona over Gragas potentially. Just because Leona doesn't have the greatest of times into a Thresh. And then I think about it in the context of Damwon Kia. And you think about how often Beryl is actually going to be experiencing the laning phase. And the answer is not a lot at all.
Yeah, not too much. I guess the other idea too is, you know, if you're Leona here, there's not a crazy amount of frontline that's going to prevent you from getting into to threatening, you know, Zenith Blade Rage to threaten some of these squishier damage dealers on Gen.G. And you can also kind of deal with Udyr. You know, if you end up stunning him, he's not going to stay stunned for very long and he's going to zip around. But you can keep him off of your carries. You can keep him off of Canyon. It's up being a nice bodyguard pick that we saw used against Nocturne as well quite a bit last week.
Yeah, we actually saw a little bit of Leona getting some things done in the earlier stages of the game as well into things like the Udyr, just because you hit him with a Zenith Blade and you can actually lock him down before a lot of that tenacity does start to ramp up, as there's the level 2 being hit. And despite that Flay being available, Beryl's still going to be able to find life with the Shield of Daybreak, so not bad, not bad.
Yeah, a little bit of...
Actually a 1 trade for Gen.G, but still, you know, being able to do your buttons properly, that's real good.
Sure. A lot of priority in mid right now for Showmaker, who's even got a ward down to actually track exactly when Udyr is going to rotate through that part of the jungle around Raptors, so that's actually pretty significant information they're able to gain early on.
Yep.
And
also one of the lanes that was important, right? This is what we were talking about. If the Zoe can actually win it out, then it becomes a little bit different. It is Predator that's been taken on the Lilia as well. Trying to go for some more ganking powers. The hook is going to connect onto Beryl, whose Aftershock does go off heal. Utilized already.
Yeah, Ghost is playing this lane very aggressively here with Beryl trying to trade up, but at this stage of the game, the Kai'Sa damage just isn't that great. So these trades, I think, you know, even though it's being very mana unfortunate here for Ruler, because that's just how Jinx works, you know, he's end up burning a lot through that. Not great damage-wise, trades.
Yeah, in goes Canyon. Clid's going to look for him here. 4 on the bottom side. The flash is going to be traded. And it should be the Rift Scuttler going over to Gen.G as well, as Rascal is going to collect the top one. Big advantage for Gen.G if they are actually going to be able to lock this one up, and they will do so. So Canyon being put down just a little bit there, and now without his flash as well.
Yeah, that's pretty significant.
Wow, Ixu was the last one to play Cho'Gath. That is the most Ixu choice as well. I'm so glad this is how we remember him. I'm sure that if we see an Alawi game, it'll also say Ixu, and we'll be like, I remember this too, good times.
Yeah. I never think Alawi times are good times. That's just me personally.
Oh, I do. You see like the 63,000 damage Alawi games? Oh, beautiful.
She got in our looking like a champ intro as well, our tentacles in there.
I know, it was so good.
Well, this is unfortunately not going to lead to anything down here for good old Clid. The lane is too pushed. Damwon, Kia, and Barrel and Ghost are totally fine down here on the bottom side. And it has been a pretty stable early game here. Not a whole lot of action outside of that forced flash.
Yeah.
The top matchup.
Both teams probably happy for it to just go into a scaling war.
Exactly. And the top matchup's been super interesting too because, Khan was getting pushed in quite significantly early on with some of the poke that, Cho'Gath is going to have with his knockup, but he's turned this around quite significantly as he leveled up and now is significantly ahead in CS and is even forcing this into a turret.
Yeah, Rascal also struggling a little bit there. The Vorpal spikes.
Yeah, it's really hard.
Can be annoying if you don't toggle them off, but does do so. As Rascal is, it's interesting. A lot of people think of Rascal as this carry player on the top side of the map because that's what he was in DRX. But before that, he was tank only. Would only play these just meat sacks on the top side. As Khan is only level 5, so he's not going to be driving a train into the Cho'Gath, but
he has
looking a little bit worrisome.
He has 2 biscuits. He's going to pop one. He's going to hit this knockup. This is actually so scary for Rascal.
Yeah, the knockup trade coming through here is okay.
6?
Yeah, 6 is being gained. The feast is available. Knockup connects, and we're looking for it. There's the jump down, and Rascal's going to eat the zombie for breakfast.
This matchup is so funny. It's like when you hit 6, it's almost like you're Pac-Man. You got the power pellet. And
Yeah.
You're like, oh, now you're running from me.
Oh, Shockwave in the mid lane as well here as BDD just going to try and bully Showmaker around. I like this. Yeah, you're right. And I think that was just Khan misjudging who was going to hit 6 first.
Yes.
Right? Because if Khan had got it, then he drives a train into him and then he dies.
It was very obvious, too, that Khan was hoping for that to happen based on how he was trading aggressively, and he had those biscuits, so he was going to be able to have enough mana to use his ultimate no matter what. And so he felt really confident, but yeah, just misjudging the experience.
Oh, I didn't realize how good Silence is actually into the devastating smash as well. It's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, it's
Yell
nice.
at him while he's charging it up.
It's like a nice soft counter in the lane. A little bit of a threat onto BDD there. This Clid, obviously Udyr is going to be very happy to try to take this Drake away, especially with the lane priority they have. This is no shocker that he's able to get this away for free. As we're going to watch this top side chomp down again. As soon as he hits 6, it's like, okay, Pac-Man pellet, I've got it. You got to run away, and Khan knows it.
Oh, that one. Oh, I don't know how close he was, but if it was that one minion,
yeah,
that would have been 2 of them.
It could have turned things
So
around
sad.
too. They're so low.
See that?
Yep.
Justing. Oh,
exactly.
man.
That was just super unlucky timing, and that's why Khan stayed so long. And then he ended up getting hit by the knockup as well. No way really he could get out of that with the range there.
Yeah, just not fast enough. Still has flash, of course, as you can see, so could have potentially flashed out of the rupture, but just didn't respect it, unfortunately, as Ruler is going to get ignited, taken down to about 300 health.
Well, that's a great start for Rascal. I mean, it cannot be overstated.
Yeah.
That's amazing that he gets that this early on. It's really unfortunate for Khan, but I mean, he made a deal with the devil when he was trading like that, I mean, there are huge consequences if you mess that up. And he just wasn't able to get that last minion.
Still not going to be the end of the world, and as you can see, still farming out just fine. If Sion's anything, he's reliable, And he will be able to do his job as the game goes on. That being said, a fed Cho'Gath is very, very scary. So interested to see how Rascal's going to be able to utilize this. As you can see, it's been mostly Clid playing around the bottom side of the map thus far. But anything could change, as it looks like Canyon's going to be focusing on the Herald. He's had a bit of a quiet game so far, but has been farming relatively effectively. As Barrel just gives away the fact that this Herald is going by wandering through the mid lane. Rascal over here as well. They're not going to find the silence there, unfortunately, as Khan wins that mind game. And now, Damwon Kia, they've found one. Sleepy Trouble Bubble comes down now as everyone's getting tired. The box comes in, but oh my god, the Rupture Shockwave combo is so good from Rascal and BDD, and Gen.G wiped the floor with Damwon Kia.
Such a fantastic start here for Gen.G. I mean, it even works with the Flay as well. Everything is a disaster. The box is set up so well. It's really easy to hit this combo if you're BDD in this situation, and he executes on it so well. And Damwon Kia overextending a little bit, trying to fight for this Rift Herald, and just did not understand the power that this comp has this early on when you have this combo, especially with the start that Rascals had in this game. And he just rotates in, unbeknownst to Khan, by his turret. He had a control ward there. He knew that Khan didn't know the rotation angle he was having, but you've got to expect this rotation if you're Gen.G, or rather, excuse me, if you're Damwon Kia. And, you know, they just tried to get away with it, and they did not.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a really greedy play overall. They didn't have control over any parts of the map that couldn't prevent those rotations. And they didn't know where Clid was either. And he's able to set this up because he starts this off, gets everybody locked in. The sleep comes through, and then it's just really nice to follow up. As, yeah, okay, you have the train colliding in, but BD is so easy to stack this up. He pulls them in, and there's just trust between these two players. He gets a follow-up silence, too. Rascal does. So, like, what do you do if you're Damwon Kia? You get hit by that combo at this stage of the game. Nothing you could do.
It was beautifully timed as well, with the rupture just going off right as everyone's just sucked in. So
it's very clearly practiced, you know? Like, they've been working on this.
Yeah. Looks real nice. Super Mega Death Rocket there as well, of course. Like, that was a fight won without actually Ruler in the area. I believe Ghost wasn't there either. But still, Ruler is going to have a decent advantage of about 20 CS on the bottom side. Also with that assist that he managed to put together. Barrel now. Oh, not going to be able to taxi your way out of this one, my friend. And he's looking for an opportunity, but not going to be able to get out. No flash, no chance.
I mean, there's so many wards here for Gen.G. He gets spotted, he gets punished. I mean, it's that simple. And with Udyr on the map, you just can't be out like this by yourself.
Yeah. Because
there's no way to get away. Once you get hit by that first bear stun, it's basically over. Especially if you're a support that has no mobility whatsoever. He tried to taxi out, as you said, with Zenith, but unable to do so. And Gen.G are in a massive lead at this stage in the game now.
Yeah, really looking like they are desperate to hold on to that second place. Like we were talking about, this is what this is about, guys, is Lol Esports hot on the tail of Gen.G. And if they can put a win on the board and be the second team this season to take down Damwon Kia, that will be a massive thing for them. That being said, they still need to win after this.
Look at the vision, Atlas. That's going to cross you plate. The observers are showcasing like there is nothing Gen.G doesn't know.
Especially about this dragon, which is going to be a decent one for our Soul, as well as this Cloud Drake has just spawned. Life looking for a hook opportunity. Not going to be able to find it there.
This is, I mean, this is part of the power of Udyr as well, is being able to control vision so well.
I love this as well. Ruler just throws a Super Mega Death Rocket, tells Ghost he has to go home, and that he's going to give Gen.G pretty strong priority around this area. That being said, Damwon Kia have carved themselves out a bit of a route towards the Drake if they do want to try and contest it. Canyon's on the top side of the map for the moment. Clid should be able to just get over here as Ruler. Damn. Going through these plates.
They know, like, right now, Damwon Kia know they don't have vision around this Drake, and they didn't have a ton of information, so they tried to hover to get something done mid because they thought the Drake is going to be taken down for sure, and they can't tell. They have one controller. Hold that thought.
Yep, double knockup is decent there as Khan going to find Rascal, knocks him up. Spinning over the wall is Canyon, and there is no way for this this Cho'Gath to go. Showmaker comes through, not able to quite get himself too much there, but this Cloud Drake will be taken by Gen.G on the other side of the map, and still a trade that they're going to be okay with taking, especially when Rascal still has teleport and flash available. Didn't want to invest anything into that moment, and he's like, yep, well, you got me. But it doesn't really matter, right? There's still a 3,000 gold lead for Gen.G.
I think Damwon Kia, this is really good for them too, because they all rotated mid trying to make something happen on that mid turret, and then they weren't able to find any value there because they were like, oh, well, you know, Gen.G is going to take the Drake no matter what. Then they were able to force this pick on the top side, really well executed. Sure, they ended up losing a turret and the Drake for it, but you had to get something here if you're Damwon Kia. You can't just lose on all fronts, so this was really well executed. Yep. And they're able to prevent him from flashing over the wall early here with the sleep. And it's just, there's, you know, if you're Rascal, like, oh, I really want to get over the wall, but he just can't. And even if he did, he would have been slept over the wall.
Yeah, it's like, it's pick your poison, right? It's like either he gets beaten to death by Khan or he gets, you know, ran around by the Lilia after that flash. So I think it's really intelligent to just not use the flash there, understand that you're going to die, and just, you know, cut your losses.
Also, interestingly here, let's say chem tank for Khan on this Scion.
Yeah, normally it is the Frostfire Gauntlet.
Yeah, that's a pretty unusual choice.
I think he has been going towards this a little bit. Of course, Chemtech just good, right? So you have yet another way to run fast at your opponent without having to, you know, be the train with the unstoppable onslaught.
I think it's just really a great response to the Udyr pick and the Cho'Gath pick, because it's going to give you a lot more agency to fight without being reliant on your ultimate as much to set up fights and to put a lot of pressure on. So it's a pretty interesting pick, but I like it given the situation, especially in this early game. It's going to set up plays like the one we just saw so much easier.
Yep.
You know, you fell a little bit behind in lane, and you know you're going to be able to stabilize quite a bit if you can make those big plays with this chem tank.
Speaking of chem tanks, Showmaker has one too.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. Now Zoes seem to just pick up a whole bunch of items they don't necessarily want all the time. Which
Yeah.
I think is better than just redemption, redemption, redemption. Which made us a little bit sad.
It's fun to see how they utilize them, though. And, you know, it's not totally useless on Zoe, I guess.
Damwon Kia could be in trouble up here as Ghost down to about 50% already. Canyon making it into position. Showmaker has a way to get around here as Ruler going to get tagged there, but not falling asleep just yet. And they do at least hold on to this turret, which is limping right now.
Looks like Rascal, there's a lot of pings going down. It really looks like Rascal was considering teleporting because he actually held in the fountain and didn't actually walk back down to the bottom side. Looked like he maybe wanted to teleport there and catch them. But he hesitates. He does not use his teleport. He's going to walk bottom side, but that's going to actually cost him quite a bit of minions.
Yeah.
You could see the observers highlighting that now. So unfortunate here for Gen.G, but not the end of the world. They're still going to get this Rift Herald.
They should be able to. Shirley seems to belong to them, as a whole bunch of the neutral objective stats that Damwon Kia have been first placed in are getting assaulted in this game. But you know, we're talking about like a 3,000 gold lead. It did get to approximately that, but it's been pulled back pretty nicely here by Damwon Kia, looking to try and stabilize as best they can. If there's any team you can trust to do so, it is probably them.
Yeah, they have really good objective control even when behind, and sometimes with compositions that Damwon Kia have played historically where their comp scales badly in the late game and they're behind, they still are able to make it work by not taking team fights and controlling the macro on the map. So
yeah.
This is not a significant enough of a deficit where you look at it and go, well, this is going to be really hard for Damwon Kia, because as you mentioned, you know, their comp scales pretty well. They have a really nice team fighting composition in terms of the poke they have. And there is a lot of sleep setup, and there are ways that Showmaker can blow up anyone in the back line if he actually hits that sleep, or if Canyon can set that up with a sleep stopwatch. So there's a lot of different ways that Damwon Kia win fights despite this deficit. So don't count them out yet. But if this next break goes to Gen.G, things get so much harder, and they become so much tankier and difficult to blow up and kill.
There's also the fact that Ruler is on the Jinx, and I think that that's the one thing that Damwon Kia need to be scared about, right? The range, not exactly massive unless you count, you know, Showmaker's Paddle Stars being able to cover a lot of distance. Their backline access actually isn't the greatest, right? They can Zenith Blade in there. I mean, Khan can try and crash his way in, but with the Lantern, everything like that, like, I think that Ruler is going to be very safe in the late game. So when you look at the Damwon comp, you think that it's okay. As Beryl, he's not. He might have to just flash away from this one, not wanting to. Actually, right now, as he flashes relatively late, he's going to survive for the moment as he puts up the Eclipse just for fun. Avoids the Super Mega Death Rocket there, but it was a good shot from Ruler. Gen.G just say that the Leona has to go home, and now they're going to put on a bit of a siege here in the mid lane. Looks like the outer ring going to be taken down pretty comfortably here for Gen.G as the bubble will connect onto the Jinx somehow in the back line. Paddlestar is going to help take down Shirley. Mountain Soul this game.
Yeah, and this is going to be Soul Point going to them if they can take this fight. They have such control over the Drake right now. Gotta be careful about getting hit by those sleeps, though.
There's a lot of sleepy options, right? This is the soporific comp with the Lilia and the Zoe. The Gen.G have been avoiding a lot of it right now as they do start off the Drake like you were talking about. Nice. Leona back in position, bowling ball avoided.
Canyon's Moses right now.
In goes the train. Does find a bit of damage onto Glid, but otherwise not too much as the flash out of the way from the hook. And you can see Khan mainly focusing on getting enough room to guarantee that that Drake is secured. And Gen.G, they do just back away, not wanting to bite off more than they can chew.
Showmaker hits, you know, no sleeps here. Canyon is able to threaten sleeps with his Swirl Seed. He's not able to connect them, but they have to like split, right? I said he's Moses because, you know, every time he throws that out, everyone has to part like the Red Sea. And when that happens, you know, Gen.G lose a lot of positional advantages because Khan gets to walk forward every single time. So those swirl seeds, even though they didn't connect with anybody, really helped disrupt the positioning of Gen.G, and that's the threat, right? If Gen.G gets further ahead, even if you do get slept in some of these fights, you're just not going to care. As long as Jinx is alive, it's totally fine. But you could see how, you know, the Drake ends up doing quite a bit of damage to Gen.G, and Khan's positioning is perfect as these come through. You split like this, and then you have to do it one more time. Like, you have to watch out for Zoe as well. Khan can ult. Like, he just pushed them away from the Drake quite literally with these abilities without killing anybody, without even threatening a kill, really. I mean, it goes low, but that's just really good understanding of your kit with your composition.
And also what they wanted to achieve, right? Like, this is about denying the soul point, and they managed to do that. So
you're not trying to get a wipe. You just don't want them to get that Drake.
Yeah.
And it's so good for Damwon Kia, too, if they actually start to stack these because of the Scion pick.
I mean, it's great for both teams, right? As Beryl, once again, going to be slightly caught out of position. Rascal coming on in here, doesn't find the rupture, but Beryl is well and truly dead once again, unfortunately. Another swirl seed going to connect, but there goes that outer turret in mid lane.
Yeah, and this is really unfortunate for Damwon Kia. I don't think they could turn this into a Baron play, but they are going to have so much control over the vision around it right now.
Oh, yeah.
And this is the second time Beryl has been caught like this. You know, when you're playing the Gragas, you have the ability to cask your way out of some of these desperate situations, but unfortunately the Leona just doesn't have those same opportunities. So if you get caught out like this when there's so much CC, Gen.G has so much of it, you're just going to get burst down, and there's not much you can do about it. Like, why is he even going here? Is he trying to set for a really aggressive Zenith blade? I mean, he has vision here already, and I guess the idea is he thinks they don't see him, but they definitely knew. And this is just a huge mistake positionally that is going to cost them a turret and a lot of vision control.
Yep, and also they had no idea of the location of a lot of other people. But teleport coming in here into the mid lane as Rascal takes a lantern ride, gets himself out, and yeah, we're not going to get too much more there.
Khan's not going to try to get that ward right now. Nope. Just going to take this one. That's a lot safer. It's a very much highly contested area of the map right now, vision-wise. He will eventually come get it. But this is really important for Gen.G to actually take these wards away, and that's why they're committing so many control wards, because if Showmaker doesn't have vision, he can't hit those sleeps.
Khan now caught out, as he's going to have to take a very short trip.
That was just blind. He has no wards there. So, you know, if he hits one of those, suddenly get a pick.
Oh, Showmaker has to flash the shockwave. Needed to respect that, and does so. Damwon Kia constantly getting pushed in. Starting to feel really dire, because, like, I have to go back to it. Like, how do you kill the Jinx?
It's so difficult. I mean, you really need one of
I guess,
sleeps.
like, you sleep everyone, right? And then, like, somehow you manage to find an assassination, but Ruler's got cleanse anyway, right? Like, it's just so hard.
I think you have to sleep the front line, and then Showmaker has to be at, like, a weird flank angle and hit his own sleep into the max range paddle star. Like, it's a lot of ifs, right? It's a very difficult thing to execute. He went Everfrost, so he has a little bit of extra damage to get that execution.
Yep.
But it is going to be so incredibly difficult. And I mean, you could see Damwon Kia was able to make that last fight work in their favor because they were able to use their front line to push everyone away. But if Gen.G have a better position, which they do have in a lot of these skirmishes here, and they have better vision control, it's so difficult because you're eventually just not going to be as scared of Khan at these stages of the game. When Jinx starts to get a little bit more items online, she's already got 2. So that's when, like, these wards are so valuable. They're worth their weight in gold. I mean, really, all the wards around the Drake right now. And Gen.G are like, this is not going to happen twice, Damwon Kia. You're not going to be able to get anywhere near this Drake when we started. Not going to allow it. That's their whole game plan right now, is controlling vision and pushing this team away. They can't cover ground, Damwon Kia can't, without a crazy flank angle, and with no vision, and 100% vision for Gen.G, where are you ever going to make that flank happen right now?
The problem is that Damwon Kia just have absolutely no map control at all. They haven't been able to take one turret on the map, and yes, they're still holding on to about this 3,000 gold gap, but nothing has been in Damwon style, you know, which is we take something and then we take more than you can.
Yeah.
Gen.G have been taking way more across this map, and it's been playing out their composition a little bit better.
I mean, this is a great game, redemption-wise for Gen.G after that loss against T1. This is so well played by them. Beryl, once again, exposed here. He gets away, but this just means Gen.G has more free reign to control this vision on the bottom side. Canyon and Showmaker are just looking for sleeps right now, blind, as best as they can. They hit one, and then maybe they can engage. Here we go again.
Yep.
This is going to be the exact same type of fight.
Well, Khan puts up his shield, but it's going to get melted pretty quickly. The hook comes back as well. Flame Chompers are down. Taking a bit of killing as Ghost Killer Instinct into the backline. They managed to get rid of BDD. There's the shutdown. Showmaker now in a little bit of trouble as Gen.G are trying to close in on him. Khan somehow still alive. The Showmaker goes golden. Life will be taken out. Damwon Kia, in classic Damwon Kia fashion, are looking like they're doing pretty well in this one. And now Ghost supercharging forward. Canyon looking for a little bit more.
And Clid just can't do anything in this fight. He's Udyr, you know, this is one of those fights later on in the game where, unfortunately, the Udyr just loses its power. And this was so well played by the DPS players on Damwon Kia. They're going to be able to take this Drake away. It started off really well for Gen.G, so they're not done yet.
Yep, Rascals trying to chem tank his way forward. Clid not able to get the smite. As now Khan trying to be that front line. This is 3 versus 4, but Khan is out of position. And Ghost has no killer instinct to follow up on anything. The zombie comes out. And that's just a quick steal away of a kill. But it's not a steal away of a dragon.
That's way more important at this stage, I think. Really, really crucial to prevent that soul point. And now you have 2 Mountain Drakes on a Scion. You end up getting a 3rd one here in the next fight, and then it's like, okay, Gen.G has really lost control over these Drakes. I like this play a lot because they are higher health bars. Khan isn't here.
We don't have a lot of ultimates available as well as the bubble. Not going to find any joy. Swell Seed comes in. Clid could just be dead here as the Solar Flare comes through. 2-man Shockwave on the back line, but Beryl able to get past the Flame Chompers quite nicely. Showmaker now having a bit of a field day in this fight, but it's not going to save Beryl's life, and Gen.G, we're just looking for more kills. Ruler gets excited. You all know how terrifying that is. The Showmaker steals away the red buff, but now he might lose his life, and is going to do so. Ghost supercharges his way to get out, and it looks like Gen.G should be able to head back to the Baron.
Gen.G should be able to take this Baron, and they are poised to take this game right now, Atlas. You know, right now, Beryl is down for 12 more seconds. Khan is here, and the health bars are low. I mean, I think if you're Damwon Kia, you have to try to contest this. What else can you get on the map? They're sending Lilia down to clear jungle camps right now, so they're just not willing to do it because Ghost isn't here quickly enough. When you watch the replay of that fight, too, I think a lot of people will criticize Beryl for trying to go in by himself like that, but he actually could have really set up a really nice turn, as we're going to go way back in time and watch this fight, where this time they don't allow Khan to bully them out. They actually collapse on him early, but he is so tanky, even at this stage in the game. Meanwhile, Beryl flips around on the other side, and BDD is blown up, so that's all your damage gone for Gen.G, so they're just not able to front-to-back team fight as succinctly as you would like. Then the sleep comes down here, and all your damage is just totally removed if you're Gen.G in this fight. The next fight, though, is, I think, so much more interesting. This one just extends. Obviously, we zoom forward. Damwon Kia are able to get the Drake, which is the most important part of this. But this fight, the Shockwave is so perfect, because without that, the follow-up damage is definitely going to be there, and you actually have a fair fight. And that was the really big moment for BDD, who ended up getting picked in the previous fight, but this time redeems himself. And as you say, Ruler when he's excited.
And I like that, like, Showmaker is able to steal away the red buff, and then Ruler says, no, that was mine, and takes it back immediately. Landing the zap, definitely very important. Getting that extra vision. Now, Gen.G pushing in on the inner turret in the bottom lane. They've already taken the inner in mid. We'll see whether Damwon Kia can find a miracle team fight as Kaiser's in the mid lane. Does manage to take the first turret for Damwon Kia, but they lose an inhibitor turret, which is very, very scary, especially when it makes Ruler excited. Zenith Blade going to connect, as the Solar Flare does not, unfortunately, and Beryl once again is going to be taken down. Clid trying to fight Ghost, not sure whether that's one you can win, as now Gen.G just considering
they want to win the game
forward to the victory. Exactly. Ruler down to 50% though.
Look at the
not exactly what you want to be fighting with, but the first Nexus turret is going to be taken. Now Khan just looking to try and get here. Get that health bar charged up, and yeah, you're exactly right.
It's a huge grab on the Nexus cannon there, the Nexus turret there, because now these super minions become so much more useful and so much more threatening around further objectives. Like, you're already ahead as Gen.G, and now you have this permanent Nexus threat, Nexus kill threat that is going to just continue to be a problem. And once again, Beryl decides to engage, but there's no follow-up here whatsoever. And so, Gen.G are just like, okay, well, cool story. Because the damage just isn't there for Damwon Kia. Their damage is so burst, but it's not actually, there's no follow-through if you can't actually hit those shots. Like, if Showmaker isn't able to hit the follow-up Battlestar, then, like, your comp doesn't have any longevity, unfortunately, against a comp like what Gen.G has. Ghost, he can't Killer Instinct in there or anything like that. No way. It's just impossible. Their comp has kind of fallen apart, unfortunately, at this stage of the game.
Yeah, we'd already stated what the problems were going to be in the later stage of the game. It's just really hard to say that Damwon Kia are down and out as Canyon flashing forward, looking for that sleep, but all the way into the back line they go, and now goes Killer Instincts forward, but straight into a shockwave, and he's going to be taken down. B2D burns to death, and they do manage to get rid of Ruler. Not a lot of damage remaining, and yes, you managed to get Ghost, but where's your damage as now Showmaker able to really take this fight into his own hands. Clit, of course, can run away, but the rest of Gen.G not so lucky, and I'm really glad that, you know, selling Damwon Kia up the river is something we're not allowed to do, because they just find moments like this. Beryl's going to get yelled at, but he's spent most of this game in the Death Chamber, let's be honest. And Clid will run away, but Damwon Kia will get to another Mountain Drake.
Another Mountain Drake, and this makes Khan so much more valuable in this game. And Alex, it just feels like this happens so many times with Damwon Kia are behind. They make all these crazy complicated plays happen. Like every single play in this late game is like the most 200 IQ. As we're going to see Khan with a massive flank at the exact time the sleep hits. And yeah, he doesn't get the follow-up, so it doesn't matter. Ghost is picked, but so many resources used to kill him, and BDD is dead. The backline here is completely gone, and now you don't have any damage, Gen.G, in this fight. You know, you've got a tank, a support, and an Udyr, okay? Whatever you want to call that in this fight, it's not going to work.
A sprinting man.
That was so well executed from Khan and Canyon.
From Canyon, man. Canyon seeing the fact that he lands the bowling ball onto BDD, and he's like, okay, this is a play we can make. Flashes, make sure that his sleep lands on Ruler as well. Doesn't matter about whether or not he can take a lantern, because he just wants to disrupt and then guarantee that when Khan does press R, it's going to give them something. And even though Ghost derped the fight completely, it was still just enough for Damwon Kia to get over the line. That being said, it is still really difficult times for this team.
They're still significantly behind. They're not able to get a Baron off of this. The timing of winning this fight, unfortunately, doesn't lead to much. You know,
the Drake is really important for them.
It is important, but it's not going to turn the macro of this game. It's not going to turn the map into their favor yet. But it is going to make these upcoming fights a little bit easier. The biggest issue, as you pointed out, is they haven't had any map control, which means this composition that's reliant on hitting these long-range sleeps really struggles to actually make those happen. Finally, you could see the volatility of this game when Canyon does actually hit that seed and is able to set the sleep, like what this comp can actually do when it is able to function correctly.
Canyon's 3-0-4 somehow.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how that happened. He was 0-0-1, didn't look like he was really doing too much throughout this whole game. But now, he's got 10 stacks on him at Jais.
Yeah, and
so I think Canyon's playing a different game to us. We're thinking that Damwon Kia are on the ropes, and he's like, no, I'm cruising towards another win.
When you think about the difference, too, I mean, 2-0-5 on the Udyr is a pretty good stat line, but what these two champions are going to offer in a longer team fight is, I mean, it's massively favored to Canyon, right? He's going to be able to set up a massive sleep. You can talk about bear stuns, okay, cool, whatever. What if 3 people are asleep? Also, what if I actually can get a third of everyone's health bar, you know, over the course of a few seconds? Whereas Udyr is just kind of running around and trying to chase people down, trying to help secure kills, trying to lock people down. The value is massively different in how these team fights are going to work.
Yep, double mask build actually pretty good, as you can see. The passive doing a fair bit of damage there to Rascal. But he is a very beefy boy. He's going to get knocked up here as the Solar Flare comes through. Beryl lands the Zenith Blade, but not exactly the Zenith Blade that he wants. He just gets eaten by the Void Monster, and now Khan finds himself off on the side. These are 2 quick picks onto the frontliners, and Gen.G, this might be enough to break the backs of Damwon Kia now as they bear down on the base. Ghost in flanking position on the Kai'Sa. Not sure whether that's exactly what you want, as the Shockwave going to pull him back. Might be able to get an explosion there onto BDD, but he's just running around, and the hook is going to connect. So unfortunately, Ghost not going to be the hero this time, and Ruler gets excited, gets the flash out of Showmaker. Canyon, this might be his first death of the game, as he's looking to try and defend that one Nexus turret. This inhibitor going to go down.
He's just trying to buy as much time as he can, but I think we know how this game ends. Showmaker, can he hit the magical sleep?
Well, can he hit the magical paddle star as well, as the Nexus is the focus? And Gen.G will do it. They'll take down game 1. It was a great comp. It was a great answer to the Scion. And unfortunately for Damwon Kia, not enough to win a couple of team fights.